Hi, hello. Today I will be teaching the story about Mr. Felix Longoria, who is a forgotten hero and is remembered. Today I will be teaching a ninth grade class with English slash history involved in it. We will be exploring and diving into how his story became a turning point for a lot of Mexican Americans during the Civil Rights Movement and how literature helps keep memory alive. With that being said, who is Mr. Felix Longoria? Mr. Felix Longoria was a Mexican American truck driver, a husband, a father to a young daughter, and a soldier. He grew up in a small town in south of Texas and called Three Waters. During this time, he was drafted into the U.S. Army and sent overseas to fight for his country for the World War II. Sadly, Mr. Longoria was killed in action in the Philippines in 1945, almost near the end of the World War. Um, when his body was brought home, his family faced a heartbreaking discrimination at the local funeral home, as it was the only funeral home in that area. With that being said, it was a wake because of his Mexican heritage. So it was basically he was declined services due to his culture and heritage. So this person is very important in how we know Felix Longoria. So Dr. Hector P. Garcia, he was the one that sparked national attention and became a major movement into the Mexican American civil rights movement. Thanks to him and the American GI Forum, Felix Longoria was finally given the honor he deserved and laid to rest as an Arlington National Cemetery. So that's where he was buried. This is what his tombstone looked like. It had Felix Longoria, Texas, PVT 27 INF, World War II, and then the dates that he passed away. He was born on April 18th from 1920 and then he passed away on June 16th in 1945. So how did this all start? So all of this started due to the letter of Miss Beatriz Longoria. On January 7th of 1949, Ms. Longoria went to Rice's funeral home where she wanted her husband's body to lie in the only funeral home there in Three Waters. Unfortunately, service were refused because he was not white, and he also, even though he was a veteran, they still refused it due to his heritage. If we turn into page 90 in the book of Hecho en Texas, we can all read this statement, and then y'all can let me know how what y'all think was impactful in her letter. So students will read and everything. After that, Dr. Hector P. Garcia read a response letter to the Senator Lyndon B. Johnson around that time. So if you turn to page 88, that's where we can see more clearly the letter. So all the students will turn their page to that page. And this letter was basically mostly about, he expresses outrage of the fallen Mexican American soldier who was denied funeral service because of his ethnicity, and he also reached out to the government officials, including Senator Lyndon B. Johnson, and then demanding justice and equal treatment for Latino veterans. So if the students read this, then they will be able to tell me like what feeling they got off of this letter. So in response, Mr. Lyndon B. Johnson did reply. This letter basically expressed his sympathy and support for Felix Longoria's family. He thanked Dr. Hector P. Garcia for bringing this issue into his attention and acknowledging the injustice that had occurred down here in the south of Texas. With that being said, he was highly honored at the funeral due to his services and for all this discrimination that he was faced even after his death. Right here, I'm going to give a timeline to all the students. So it's basically from like 1949, what happened in Longoria's death, 1948, body returns home and what happened when his body returned home. And then the January 1949, which is like the involvement of Dr. Garcia. And then we're also going to have 1949 in January when Senator Lyndon B. Johnson responded, and then 1949 in January when when all the national attention gathered upon like his life story, and as well as February 16 of 1949, his burial in Arlington National Cemetery. Then, after the lesson is done, there's going to be an exit ticket with 2 questions. One, basically, of reflecting what does Felix Longoria's story teach us about fairness and equality in America? And then 2, it's more about like understanding today's world. Can you think of a situation today where someone used their voice to fight justice, just like Dr. Garcia did? Oh. And then that will be the end of our lesson. Oh, these are my sites. And then listen. So yeah, thank you.